Hello, I am glad to say that we are finally getting closer to getting back on track with these videos for Mere Christianity. We only have the video from last week and the chapter from last week and the chapter for this week, which I hope to have done by the end of Tuesday. Now, let me get to the chapter. I hope that these videos have not been too short or too kind of all over the place or anything, but I've been trying to keep a understanding of what he is saying without going too far, not going too crazy with it. I have read the comments from some of the previous videos, and I just have to say that I've enjoyed them and I've enjoyed being able to read them. So I encourage more of that. And so thank you for that and for everything with that. So with this chapter, the invasion, which weird title for this chapter, but it's interesting. So let's go with the one of the very first things that he says with this chapter, and it'll kind of start flowing with the understanding of what's going on with this chapter, at least in the second book. So it is the view I call Christianity and water, the view which simply says there is a good God in heaven and everything is all right, leaving out all the difficulty and uh, trouble doctrines about sin and hell and the devil and the redemption. Both these are boys' philosophies. It is no good asking for a simple religion. After all, real things are not simple. They look simple, but they are not. The table I am sitting at looks simple, but ask a scientist to tell you what it really is made of and all about the atoms and how the light waves rebound from them and hit my eye, what they do to the organic nerve and what it does to my brain. And of course, you find what we call seeing a table lands you in mysterious and uh, complications, which can you can hardly get to the end of. A child saying a child's prayer looks simple, and if you are content to stop there, well and good. But if you are not, the modern world usually is not. If you want to go on and ask what is usually happening, then you must be prepared for something difficult. So, really, what this is all about, what this chapter, what we are discussing, the idea of Christianity being simple, the idea of all the answers that you have just being right at your fingertips is something that I don't think any one of us should ever really expect with Christianity, with scripture, with all these things, because, when Christ spoke in the New Testament Gospels, when Paul wrote his letters, when Peter wrote a few of his letters, when John wrote his letters, when the prophets spoke in the Old Testament, when the psalmists sung and wrote their psalms down, when the wisdom prophet was when the wisdom literature was written, when Moses wrote the Torah, all these things. I even missed a few, the history and all that. But when it comes to each and every single part of scripture, when it comes to Christianity, we can't look at it and say it's simple. Even right before that, very well done. This is the very first sentence, actually. Atheism is too simple. And I will tell you another view that is also too simple, which he calls the Christianity and water being the simple views, just looking at a God in heaven, a good God in heaven, but also just not even thinking about the rest of it. I'm just waving my hand all around, and it's very interesting to think about. A very important aspect to also think about because of what we need to view when we look at Christianity. and our faith in God. On the second chapter, on the second page of the chapter, on page 41, actually, I forgot to save the page on the first, but the second page, 41, you must be on your guard against these people, for they will change their ground every minute and only waste your time. Notice, too, their idea of God making religion simple, as if religion were something God invented. And his statement to us of certain quite un art, art, I cannot utter words today. I'll just skip that word. Facts about his own nature. That's unaltered, unartable, unarchable, unarted, altered, altered. That's not. So I do apologize for that. That was just difficult for me to get out. But you know, God never created it, our understanding of all these things. You know, we we make things, for one, more complicated. Two, Christianity is simple in this aspects of it's straightforward. We look at scripture and it's saying what is truth, the scripture. There are people today who argue that Christianity is not true, it is false because it is written by man, but when in reality, those same people who say Christianity is false are the same people who trust in theologians or philosophers or historians that say that it's wrong when in reality they're just reading what man says. But not going to touch on that. Not going to touch it. But excuse me. So let us on page 42. So let us leave behind all these boys' philosophies. There are these over simple answers. The problem is not simple, and the answer is not going to be simple either. What is the problem? A universe that contains much is obviously bad and apparently meaningless, but containing creatures like ourselves who know that it is bad and meaningless. There are only two views that face all the facts. One is the Christian view that is a good world that has gone wrong, but still remains the memory of what it ought to have been. The other view is called dualism. Dualism means the belief that there are two equal and independent powers at the back, that there are of everything, one of them good and the other bad, that the universe is the battlefield in which they fight out an endless war. I personally think that that next to Christianity, dualism is the manalist and most sensible creed on the market, but it has a catch to it. The two powers or spirits or gods, the good one and the bad one, are supposed to be quite independent. They both existed from all eternity. Neither of them made the other. Neither of them has any more right than the other to call itself God. Each presumably thinks it is good and thinks the other bad. One of them likes hatred and cruelty. The other likes love and mercy, and each backs its own view. Now, what do we mean when we call one of them good power and the other bad power? Either we are merely saying that we happen to prefer the one to the other, like preferring beer to cider, or either we are saying that whatever the two powers think about it, and which we humans at the moment happen to like, one of them is naturally actually wrong, actually mistaken, it regarding itself good. Now I want to stop there. Talking about good and evil. What is good and what is evil? What are we talking about with that? Why do we misunderstand in the world today? If you look at where we are in the world, the misconceptions of what is good and what is evil. what is good, what is bad, what is right, and what is wrong. Because I see it every day. On social media, there are people who over view it in the sense that these bad things that we've viewed as bad for centuries or for so long has been turned as good because that's what we feel. And I'm not going to touch on that too much. I can in a later class, but not right now. So I just wanted to. This was the best one I could find, and I just realized that it doesn't show the full picture, so I do apologize for that. And I found this. Please make it simple, and that's how people want it to be. That's how everyone wants everything to be simple, and so. But is it it is no good asking for a simple religion. After all, real things are not simple. They look simple, but they are not. The table I am sitting at looks simple, which was the reference to the very first page of the table reference. And actually, at this moment, I'm actually sitting at my coffee table right now. And there's, I don't know if you can hear that. Let me stop talking. It is solid wood, and we say that these things that we view are not simple or anything, but when it comes to the reality of God, when it comes to reality of our faith, it's not really simple. It is very complex, but at the same time, there are parts to it that is very simple. Because trust in the Lord your God. Admit that you're a sinner. Believe that Jesus died on the cross. Confess that Jesus Christ is Lord and that He is the Son of the living God. That He died and was resurrected. And kind of the ABCs, but I use different letters. I just happen to use A and a B and a C there. But to skip a little bit further, like I don't mean to miss anything that's important, and if there is anything, I want this to be known. If there's anything I do miss in these chapters because I try to not make these too long or whatever, I want you to stick point them out as I've seen done in prior videos. But on page 45, starting kind of in the first full paragraph, a little within that paragraph, it says, and do you now begin to see why Christianity has always said that the devil is a fallen angel? That is not a mere story for the children. It's a real recognition. I Words are not coming out of my mouth. Just realizing of the fact that evil is a parasite, not an original thing. The powers which enable evil to carry on the powers given it by goodness. All the things which enable a bad man to be effectively bad are in themselves good things. Resolution, cleverness, good looks, existence itself. Why is dualism in a strict sense? That is why dualism in a strict sense will not work. But continuing in the next paragraph, but I freely admit that real Christianity as distant from Christianity and water goes much nearer to dualism than people think. One of the things that surprised me when I first read the New Testament seriously was that it talked so much about a dark power in the universe, a mighty evil spirit who was held to the power behind evil and disease and sin. The difference is that Christianity thinks this power was created by God, not that evil was created by God. Just gonna say that right now. I'll get into that in a second. And was good when he was created. Good. And went wrong. Christianity agrees with dualism that this universe is at war, but it does not think that this is a war between independent powers. It thinks it is a civil war, a rebellion, and that we are living in a part of the universe occupied by the rebel. Okay, God did create angels And when, how, I don't know. I don't have those answers. But he created angels. And that angel, Lucifer, Satan, whatever name you want to use for him, he did fall. He did uh create a well, he didn't create, he corrupted the world through the fall. Our chapter that we just read yesterday, Sunday, in church, the fact that the fall happened. And so God did not create evil. He gave us the free will, and the angels, I guess, with that similarity, I don't fully know. I have not done enough research and stuff on angels, so don't ask anything about that. So I have no answers to that. But if you do ask any questions, I will ask my professors. But God created good in this world. He created free will so that we have the right to choose, and through that we have corrupted things through sin. So that is all I have for this video, and that was a lot of reading and that was a lot of talking. So I cannot do anymore. I'm getting a little dry in my throat. I need water. So I hope that is a clear as mud chapter. And because C.S. Lewis, he's clear, but he's also sometimes very difficult to understand. But I hope everyone has a fantastic day and is able to enjoy this, continue to enjoy this series that we've been doing on Mere Christianity. Thank you, and have